All right, I'm not sure what's going on with my. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
With Sport Podcast. Hold on 1 second. All right, let's get it. Mikayla, what's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up with you? How you doing?
Okay. I see. I got the music. I got the sound regulated. All right, Facebook Live. If you're just joining in, this is Chassie Mel with True Sport Podcast. We didn't do a lot of advertising because we had to get this thing going. A lot's been going on in my life, and I know Mikayla stays busy. She's got rap song out, Black Lives Matter. She had a little dope bars for her father on Father's Day, and she's been messing around, got some great lyrics. But let's get right into it. Let's start with your story. First of all, you and I both are from Sampson County, 910, baby.
Yeah.
Girls, very humble beginnings. Just going to introduce you a little bit. Great, probably one of the best players to come out of North Carolina high school basketball, averaged 50 points, 3 times?
Yeah, I think it was like 4 or 5.
Like 3, 4, 5 times. I couldn't keep count. Like it was unbelievable. Quadruple doubles, triple doubles, all from Sampson County. Went on to get a college basketball scholarship at Duke University. Tell me a little bit about your story just growing up, Mikayla.
Yeah, so I come from a background where, we ain't have much, but we made do with what we had. My dad is one of the biggest public figures, especially in Clinton, and he helps a lot of kids out regardless of, their social and economic backgrounds, their family life, things like that. So growing up, we kind of had like this AAU team that we got all the boys together. And I was the only girl on the team, and we went and just played in tournaments. And as we grew up, we all built this like relationship and this bond. And the team kind of broke up around like my 6th grade year, and that's when I finally started playing with girls. And then went on to travel the world playing with girls up until 9th grade. And then I switched teams again on a Nike circuit. Started getting more exposure there too. Everybody know I committed to Duke around 8th grade, super young. So that's kind of like my little life story in a nutshell right there.
That's a short story, short version, but I grew up with your dad, so your dad used to beat me up on the court, maybe help shape me into the basketball player that I was playing at the block. So we had some stories, yeah. So some of the people are saying they can't see you as clear, so if you can come up some into your camera, and just kind of keep it there. Yeah, it's a little blurry. There you go. All right, Mikayla, don't be afraid to show them that pretty face. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, just today's climate with racism, Black Lives Matter, police brutality, COVID-19, presidential race, the politics, everything. For you, I know I don't really want to go in this story with you, but I know you have multiple ACL injuries. Sorry, that's our other guest calling in. But you have multiple ACL tears. So basketball's been taken away from you before.
Yeah.
Multiple times. So can you just talk to a little bit of the athletes out there for the first time in their lives? We were able to finish our season at Loyola University, but some athletes didn't get to finish their basketball season. And for some of the young kids, they aren't able to play in the AAU tournaments, although some tournaments are coming back. What would your advice be to them of having basketball taken away for the first time and just being without it? And it's been such a big part of your life.
Yeah, for me, it was once the game was taken away from me a couple times. It was a good time for me to reflect on my life and things that I've been going through, and I was able to find myself, find out more things about myself, which helped me a lot. I also stayed in the gym a lot more than I would ever expect I would be in the gym. I'm a gym rat, so being in the gym is just something that I came up on, and we just always stayed in the gym. But once I got hurt, I was able to be in the gym 20 times more than I was before. But like I said, especially with this last surgery I just had, that it kind of helped me, realize who I am outside of basketball. And I kind of found myself beyond basketball. That is kind of where I get the saying from, it's more than basketball, it's more than myself. I have a platform, and now I'm able to use my platform and do things that I like to do that's outside of basketball. So that's kind of something that I learned throughout this little process of me going through my injuries.
So obviously they had to build your, in your subconscious, it had to build your mental capacity as far as staying confident, being strong. But going through quarantine and not being on campus, being away from the team, being away from all your trainers, what did you learn about yourself during quarantine?
I learned that, I need to focus on my body a lot more in quarantine. This is the most that I've actually been able to, sit down and like actually critique my body in ways that I didn't even think that I needed to kind of critique it. So if that is, taking 2 days off opposed to having 1 day off at school, it's something that my body needs to recover, especially doing the things that I'm doing right now during quarantine, as far as my workouts and things like that. I'm able to find things about myself that are able to help me have a long lasting career with basketball. So that's kind of the things that I'm actually learning right now about myself, is certain things that my body like to do, because with college basketball, you're on go all the time. Like, it's no breaks at all. So now I'm kind of able to like absorb myself and kind of see what my body reacts to, and how to kind of deal with my legs and recovery and things like that.
That's what's up. So Mikayla, you're 21. Are you legal yet?
Yeah,
okay.
My birthday was May.
All right, so you're learning about the recovery for your body, probably everything that it takes as far as eating habits and everything. I was probably 29 or 30 when I got to that. So,
yeah.
No, I think that's really important. Just speaking to a lot of young athletes and older athletes, I think a lot of people feel the same way you feel. Like, I really got to know my body, because as you know, and I know with you and your work ethic, you're always battling back. You're always thinking about the next game. Okay, when I get back on the court, what I'm trying to achieve, that you never take time out for your personal self and your personal body. And I played, overseas and in the WNBA. So for me, it took a little bit longer time. So that's definitely going to help you moving forward. And I think that's great advice. And I hope all the young athletes and the professional athletes kind of found some time to really get to know themselves on and off the court and their body and everything. So that's going to be powerful for you. Speaking of powerful, I heard your recent, I saw, we talked, and I said, I heard those bars you were dropping on Instagram. They were fire, so I'm huh?
Said you're gassing me. Come on now.
No. Listen, I've been with athletes for a long time. We always got our thoughts, and I know personally, like, you don't have a lot of time to get your thoughts out, because sometimes you're in that box as an athlete, and people just, want to see you play. They don't want to hear everything else. Like, they don't want us to talk about politics or anything. So I'm super proud that you kind of went out there, because I told you I did some stuff too, but I ain't put it out. But my boys, I don't know if they're inspired as yours, but you might have inspired me to kind of drop that out. But anyways, just how did you get into rapping, and what made you just put it out there?
Yeah, so I was in quarantine. We was in quarantine. It was like the beginning of quarantine, and I was like, the George Floyd, situation kind of happened, and I instantly had like emotions, and I like to write down all my thoughts. Like, if you look at my notes, it's all my thoughts, and it's probably like 1,000 notes in there of random stuff that I just think about. And I kind of just started like typing up some stuff, and I was like, well, let me just go ahead and make this into like a little song, because it's kind of what I'm feeling. And that's what happened. Like, especially at the beginning of the song, it's like, I write these words just to show the pain that I've been feeling. That is completely honest. Like, that's the first thing that popped in my head. And it kind of just like escalated into something bigger than that. And I actually sent it to one of my friends first, and I was like, hey, what you think about this? And she was like, Mikayla, put it out there. And I did it, and after that, it kind of inspired me, and it just made me keep going after that. So I'm kind of not gonna stop with this now.
So speaking of like, you're not gonna stop, which I'm gonna keep hyping you up. You know, now when those Sampson County, Clinton, you got your parents are behind you. They're gonna keep motivating you. But I know I've experienced as well as you, just not with rapping, but with the podcast and things I try to do outside of basketball post retirement. It was really hard. People are like, stay in your lane, or you're just a basketball player. Talk about some of the negative feedback that you've received after putting your bars, your lyrics, and your songs out there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of times where I've actually been like walking around, and someone would be like, it's times where people be like, yeah, like you really motivate me with your raps and things like that, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm never gonna stop. I got you. But it's often times where I also see people, they come up to me and then they start talking about me being at Duke and doing my thing at Duke and stuff like that, and then they'll be like, what business do you have rapping? You need to be working out, da da da. Like it's just a lot of things like that I actually hear often. And as a Black woman, it doesn't sit well with me, because I feel like we as Black women are very powerful people in this world, and we should be able to share our voice in many ways that we feel like, especially being an athlete as well. We are not just athletes, and we are way beyond athletes. And I feel like me being able to do other things that I like, is something that people need to accept, because like I said, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. And it's important to me. It's a way that I'm able to, use my voice and my platform to bring awareness, especially in times right now that we're going through with the Black Lives Matter movement. So that's I kind of just like wear that on my sleeve. And it makes me go 10 times harder whenever I'm writing my lyrics and things like that.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. So it's great. I was able to attend one of the community gatherings that you had in Clinton, North Carolina, that you and I believe one of your high school friends organized around the racial climate and police brutality, and just trying to bring the community together. Also, I think you were a part of a protest, a walk in Clinton. I was out of town. I didn't get to that, but just talk about how, like you said, people want you to kind of stay in your lane. You're just an athlete and work out. Like, we don't have a mind or a brain. Talk about like how you came up with that idea and why you came up with that idea.
Yeah. So it was Hassan and DeAndres been kind of leading the way with this right here, but they actually came to me and was like, what do you think about this? It was a couple of us in a group chat, and we ended up saying, why not? We just did a protest. Why not do something that uplifts the community? So, we had a thing where we brought out different venues. We had a lot of Black businesses come out, and they basically had their little station, and they would basically profit off of us having this event, because we were giving out free food, free entertainment, free toys for the kids, things like that. We just had a lot of volunteers and donations and things like that. And it was just something to uplift our community. I know for me, I saw a video on Twitter where a little girl was out protesting. She couldn't have been no older than 6 or 7 years old. And I'm like, what is this world coming to? Why do we have a little girl, a Black queen protesting right now, whenever she should be outside playing with friends, or she should be doing something that she like, but instead she's out here protesting. So I was like, why not let's just do something that, uplifts our community, kind of show that unity, show that we can actually be together. We have to thrive in this world together, because at the end of the day, everyone needs to come together as one. So that was one of the biggest things for me, is kind of getting everyone together and, just showing people that, we can be together as one, and we can uplift each other. So that's kind of what our thought process was for kind of that, the community event that we had.
No, that goes a long way. So you're building your legacy. You almost already have a tremendous legacy, just coming out of like the rural area where we're from, Sampson County, one of the poorest counties in North Carolina. And now, like you said, for those tuning in, it's the True Sport Podcast with Chad Melvin. I have the great Duke University women's basketball standout Mikayla. Boykin is on the line with me, and we're just chopping it up. Like you said, everyone coming together, that's so important. And for me, I've been inspired by just how many athletes are out on the front lines protesting, a lot more of the younger athletes. A lot of people have spoken to me about different things. And I just firmly believe that every person has a part with whatever platform they have. everyone doesn't have to be out on Twitter, out on social media to just kind of like, marketing, or, some people do it just for the picture or the show, but, you're on the grassroots part of it. I do it from my different angles. A lot of people my age feel like, hey, we can't get out in those streets no more. Like, but the younger generation, I'm giving it all to my niece. Like, hey, go out there, do it. I got you. If you need bail, I'll come get you out. That kind of stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's really inspiring to see our youth be a part of this movement. You guys just come from a different generation, and learning really just how to use your voice. Can you talk a little bit about? I know you have two brothers who play basketball who are great. Can you talk about hearing Tim, because I know he's had the conversation with them growing up about dealing with the police, as we speak about all the police brutality that's going on, and we know they're great cops, obviously from our county, different places that we travel. We know they're good cops out there, but talk a little bit about you hanging out, playing with your brothers up to a certain age, and listening to Tim talk to all the guys you played with coming up about what would happen possibly if they got in trouble.
Yeah, so growing up with the boys and just like listening to my dad, because I'm always around my dad and my brothers, regardless of anything. It was a lot different, and you can hear their perspective especially from a male's point of view. The way my dad, kind of taught the boys around me, it was kind of like, he let them know that they're going to be seen out of if it's a group of 5 white boys and then it's a black boy, he's going to be the first person that's seen, because he's a guy of color. So he kind of engraved in them like, hey, you have to carry yourself a certain way around certain groups, because you are going to stand out regardless if you don't want to or not. It's just you're going to stand out. So it's a certain way that you have to carry yourself. And I feel like that's something, me personally, that I was actually on a call talking with someone else about this too. I feel like our world shouldn't be like that, but it is because we're a person of color. And it's hard to live like that, because you're kind of living like 2 different lives, because you have to act a certain way around a certain type of people, and then you come back home and it's like you can act yourself. But going out into society, he kind of taught us, me too, being a woman to a black woman, it's kind of a way that we have to carry ourselves out there in the streets, regardless of anything, because at the end of the day, we're always going to be seen as like a suspect in certain situations. We're always going to be seen as if we're doing something wrong, even when our intentions aren't to do anything wrong. So that's kind of something that he kind of just pounded into our head, like, you have to carry yourself this way, or you're going to be seen as something that you are not. Just how our world is today. So props to my dad for looking out and actually engraving that into all of us, all the kids in the community, because for me and my brothers, it kind of helped us a lot growing up.
Yeah, from a former veteran, and I know you're walking through my shoes now, and I know you aspire to play in the WNBA one day. Like, you probably can understand now, like, how, like, you see me at home, you're like, oh, that's Jazz, and then, you see me out, and, like, we both know, like, it's like a mask. It's kind of like you got to be two different people, in a way. And sometimes I always say to people, and I mean, not to make light of mental health issues, but I feel like a lot of athletes are bipolar when they get on certain platforms, because we know we have to carry ourselves in a certain way depending on the different platforms we reach. And then when we're back home, we can just be kind of us, And so it is great that you had your parents to kind of instill that in you. But now there's more freedom, which is inspiring to me, because athletes are more than athletes. LeBron James has led the charge, the WNBA players and everyone just using their unique voices and using their social media platforms where people can see another side of you outside of the person that they see on the court. Talking about right now speaking of the WNBA and NBA athletes, college basketball is set to resume. You guys are going to be back on campus around what time?
They actually announced it. I think it's August the 2nd. That we're going to be back on campus. We're just kind of gradually doing it. So I think basketball is the last team to show back up on campus, I believe.
So how do you feel about? I've heard different opinions about the WNBA and the NBA coming back. How do you feel with just different players, obviously having concerns about COVID-19 and people saying that NBA and WNBA shouldn't come back? What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
Yeah, I feel like, to each his own. I feel like if, you want to go out there and play, then you can play. But I also feel like if you're going to play, it needs to be kind of actions taken to kind of enhance the Black Lives Matter movement. It's just something that can't just die down as we get back into sports, because especially the NBA and WNBA, these are two big platforms that people are going to watch. They're going to watch us on television because sports are back. And if they're able to have these different things that are, showing awareness for Black Lives Matter, then that would help. It's kind of like the same equivalent to, us standing on the front lines of these protests and things like that. They're able to use things like, I think I saw something where they were trying to use names on the back of the jerseys, like things like that, educating people through like commercials and things like that. I hope that some of these big time endorsers actually do something with their commercials. That way they are, preaching Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter movement. But like I said, I feel like that's just something that, everyone has their own opinion about going back. But me personally, I want to play whenever we start back up. But, college basketball, you never know. There's no telling what they're going to do with
yeah, hopefully. I think it's a huge test, and I think having the WNBA and the NBA come back and come back under the circumstances and the way they have strategized the season, I think it's going to affect how college basketball comes back, and hopefully everyone can stay healthy and kind of manage the whole arena around COVID-19. But I agree with you. I think it's up to each individual athlete. Like I said, I respect everyone's opinion. But I also do believe that the WNBA, NBA, obviously because I've been a part of WNBA, that it's afforded me a different platform than it would if I'm not a part of it. Like you wouldn't really know about Chastity Melvin outside of 910 and Sampson County if it wasn't for the WNBA. So I think sometimes we do have to remember that as far as with the NFL, Major League Basketball, like some of us would have never gotten a platform without some of these professional leagues or the financial stability that some of us have been able to obtain. And obviously some of the dreams you're aspiring to be. Getting back to your rap career, I don't want to hold too much longer. We got 3 minutes. But again, this is a True Sport podcast with Chastity Melvin. I got Mikayla Boykin. Tell me about, your goals and dreams right now. What's your legacy to be?
Yeah, so I want to be a professional basketball player, but I also want to be a artist. I want to be an artist regardless. It's something that I'm working to, and I'm building on, and I'm talking to different people. People are actually in my ear, seeing if I could take this to the next level, which is super exciting. I just did a music video. It took about 2 hours to film about Black Lives Matter, and it's been getting a lot of recognition as well. So that was super dope, but I'm really, really, really set on being an artist as well. Like basketball, the ball isn't gonna dribble for forever. So it's something that, I'm trying to have both as my plan A. So they're kind of riding right beside each other. So hopefully that can, reach out and do what it's doing.
Awesome. We got one question for you right here. We're gonna show this. This is Danya Perry. Mikayla, how do you feel about Coach K's statement supporting Black Lives Matter?
Coach K is amazing. He's always been supportive of women, Black lives, and everything. His statement was, hands down, the best statement that college basketball has put out. I love Coach K as a person. He's a phenomenal guy. He always speaks whenever he's an amazing guy overall. But his statement, it serves as a lot of power, and a lot of people listen. And I'm really thankful for Coach K because he's helped a lot of the Black community at Duke, and as well as the Durham community. He's a great guy overall, and that statement was much appreciated.
I guess I can rock with you on that. I ain't got no problem with the Dokies, but no, Wolfpack forever, Chaz.
Nah.
So before we leave, I just want you to, I want you to kind of drop some bars for me. You know what I'm saying? Like you drop some, I'll drop a few. But before you leave, tell me your legacy, or you can kind of like put it in a few bars, like what you want your legacy to be, or you can just tell me what you want your legacy, where you see your legacy. What kind of legacy you want to live, and then drop a few bars for me.
All right. My legacy. I want my legacy to be, something beyond basketball. I'm a player beyond basketball, and I'm a person beyond basketball. That's something that I've been working on. So I don't want to just be seen as a basketball player. I want to be seen as something way more than a basketball player. Someone who impacts a lot of people's lives and things like that. Showing some bars, anything.
Yeah, some bars. Like I'm on with Chastity and she came. Nah, my bars is weak right now. I need a beat.
Listen, I ain't a big freestyler person, but I actually was just writing something, so I can give you something that I was actually just writing.
Okay. Because I'm old school, you new school. Inspire us. Give us a little something. Because I love it. I love music. You know, I watched Quincy Jones' documentary, which is great if you want to watch that on Netflix. I suggest what your dad tell him to watch that. But he said
Quincy Jones.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's a documentary. He said the world can't live without music and water, and I agree. So give us some bars. Give us some bars.
All right, I got you. All right.
Do I need to give a little beat? Because I can do it.
All right. Coming from the trenches, I may wanted everything. I didn't have everything, but everything was hard to bring. My parents put the world in their palms so we could conquer every dream. And our God's light shining down like it's our beam. Hold on. I gotta think. Because I literally just wrote this down, so I can't even remember all the way. All right. I'm gonna start over. Let me actually pull it up for you, give you a real exclusive.
Oh, I get the exclusive.
All right, here you go. Coming from the trenches, I didn't need for anything. I may wanted everything, but everything was hard to bring. Parents put the world in their palms so we could conquer every dream. And we superstars with God light shining down like it's our beam. Parentals played their cards right, even when all their dreams were set aside. They set forth all the rules, said you'll survive if you abide. Living in the world where you're racially identified and hated on and took for granted. When I looked the world in its eyes, you a gift, the chosen one is what they always told me. Knew I was different and one that's the reason God chose me. But I didn't witness, and that's when my faith exposed me. To tell the truth, I'd be lying if I say the devil ain't almost stole me. I got a gift that most don't have, it's not hereditary. And dreaming loose, the stars shining, my life is legendary. A diamond in the rough, I made it out with no commentary. And I'm young, black, and gifted, receive more blessings in the monastery. There you go, a little bit biased. That's a little bit.
I'm just saying, I know I'm old school, you know what I'm saying, but you inspire me. I might drop my little gospel track that I wrote years ago. But listen, I just want to be in the video, all right? Let me know. Wherever I am, tell Tim, Nicole, call me. I got to come be in the video, all right?
I got you. I'm writing a song actually in the process of doing that, and it's about Black women, so I would love to have you in that music video.
I would love to do it. So, no, you really are inspiring a lot of people, and I can just tell you from personal experience, like everything you do, people are watching, but just be you, be true to yourself. I'm glad I got you on this podcast. We've been going back and forth. I'm like, I got this, you got stuff. But, keep going, and listen, anybody call me after your senior year, I'm like, yep, draft Mikayla. Yeah, listen, we from a small town, but what? We play big, baby.
Regardless.
All right, tell the family, hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to put this up on Instagram later, but you can check it out, Facebook later, post it later, YouTube. I'm on with Mikayla Boykin, Duke Women's Basketball Standout, future star, future legend. She's an artist. She has it all. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, Instagram is Mikayla_Nayel on every single social media. Go ahead and check me out.
So y'all check her out. All right, thanks, homie. Appreciate you. All right. Bye.